Welcome back friends. In the last video, we organized our workspace, created a clean folder structure, installed a few important extensions and connected to our GitHub repository. If you missed that one, check it out from the card or the link in the description. In today's video, we are starting our actual web development journey. We will learn about core building blocks of every web page using HTML. By the end of this video, you will be able to write complete HTML pages on your own and more importantly, understand what you are writing instead of just memorizing it. So let us dive right in. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is not a programming language, it is a markup language that tells the browser what to show and how to structure the content. Remember that a programming language is different from the markup language. That is what you need to know for now. Every web page you see, whether it is YouTube, Amazon, or Google, starts with HTML as its core. So if you remember from our previous video, we created this page. It is also the page that started with the same structure where YouTube started, where Amazon started, or Google started. So this simple code is the foundation of every website. So let us understand each piece. First of all, we have doctype and HTML tag. What this doctype tag tells the browser is that this is an HTML5 document, which is the latest version of HTML. Then comes the HTML tag. It is like the root container that holds everything inside your web page. Inside it, we usually have two main sections, the head section and the body section. So let us see what the head section contains and what it is. The head tag contains all the information about your web page, not the visible content. So it includes title. The title you see on the web browsers tab. So if you want to see it on your browser, just go to your file and right click on the file, click on copy path. Once you copy the path, go to your browser and type this path or paste it inside your browser and hit enter. It also contains meta tags for description, keywords, encoding, and responsiveness. The links to CSS and other files. We will see all of these later. All of these meta tags may not be required, but keeping them there makes it explicit for the browser. The next thing, we have body section. The body tag contains everything visible to the user. Let us start with the basic content tag. So the first thing which we might have in our body tag is the heading tag. For example, we have H1. This is our first tag which will be visible on our page. If we refresh, you will see this page on your browser and it will show you the contents which are inside your body tag. So for now we have H1 and inside that H1 we have this text here. Similarly, we may have more headings, that is for example H2. And here we can see if we refresh the page, we get the heading 2 as well. And also for example, we have heading 3. And if we refresh, you can go on and create up to the heading level 6, which will be H6. Proper heading structure helps both users and search engines understand your page hierarchy. So you should not use H3 or H4 instead of a bold text. So for that we have the paragraph tags. So let us move to the paragraph and line breaks next. So this is the paragraph tag, and if we refresh inside our browser, you can see we got the text. And if we want this text to look bold, we will use the strong tag. Take this closing part from here and put it right here. Now this part should be bold. So if we go inside our browser, refresh the page, we can see we have this part here bold. And similarly, we have other things such as line breaks as well. For example, here we do not want this in the same line, we want it on the another line. We can do a line break or even more line breaks. So here if we refresh the page, we can see there is line break which makes it to the next line. You can put any number of line breaks in between the text. Let us now move on to lists. Sometimes we may not need the text like this. We may need more like a list. So for that thing, we can use two types of lists. One is the organized list or ordered list, we can say, and another one is the unordered list. So in our ordered list, we have OL tag. Inside that OL tag, we have LI, which stands for list item. So for example, first list item would be HTML. And then we may have the CSS, and third list item which may be JavaScript. And similarly, for example, for our unordered list, we may have React, Node.js, MongoDB. So let us see how the result comes out to be in our browser. Here we have the ordered list items, we have ordering. But inside our unordered list items, we do not have any order. Instead of keeping it like this, what we can do is we can mention type as 1, which means it should show 1 2 3, or we can keep type as A, which means it should show A, B, C. And also we can keep type as this, which will show it this way. So you have a lot of options, and similarly you have here type as circle, and it should change it to circle. The next thing we have is the links. So here we can see we have visit my YouTube channel for more tutorials, and we have the A tag where we have all of this. So you can see we have a paragraph tag where we have some text, and then we have the channel name here, and when clicking on this channel name, where should it go, where should it take the user. And this target underscore blank means that we have to open this in another tab. So let us go inside our browser, refresh this page, and see that we have this thing with this link as well. So here when I click on this, you can see it redirected to our channel. If you want more videos from this playlist, you can check it here. We have complete series coming up, and you can support me by subscribing and by sharing this playlist or by sharing this whole channel with your friends. The next thing we have is the image tag. So here we have to enter the URL of the image. Let us copy the image address from here. I can paste the URL I copied from the browser, and here I can put some more attributes. These are called the attributes. Alt, that means if the image is not visible, then what should we see? This is the text what we are going to see. And then we have the width. This shows the size of the image. We will go to this page and refresh it. You can see we have the channel logo here. We can also change it to 100 maybe. Refresh the page, and you can see the size changes accordingly. We will see more how we are going to make it look better, but for now remember that this is HTML and it is only the structure of the page, not how it looks. We will change the look and feel of our page with CSS. This alt attribute describes the image, and it is important for SEO purpose. So the next thing we have is the table tag. In our table tag, first thing we have is the table head. In our table head, we will have table row. And in the table row, we will have th tag, which will describe the heading. Like first heading we have the title, and the second heading we have the description. And similarly we will have t body, and inside our t body we will have tr, which is table row. Again the same thing which we had here, we have one row, and after that we have table data, and this corresponds to the same things which we have here. The first thing is title, so we have value for title, then we have the description, and here we have the description. Similarly we will have another title, another description. So how we are going to see it on the page is like this. We have title, description, this is the title and this is description. This does not look like a table. Just in order to make it look like a table, we can do one more thing, which is border, and I keep it 1 for now and refresh and see it now looks more like a table. But these things we are going to look inside the css sessions, because that look and feel is for css only. The next thing we are going to look at is the form basics. There is a lot to know about forms, but here we are going to just look at the basics. For that purpose I am going to paste a sample form. We have form tag, inside that we have label, and then we have input. The label corresponds to this input. Why? Because here we have one attribute which is for, and here we have id with the same value. For attribute is used to link the label to the corresponding input. Similarly we have here for email, and id is email. Let us see these attributes one by one. First of all, we have the type attribute. The type attribute says what type of input this is. It can be of various types. For example, we have type button, checkbox, color, date type, email, and a lot more. But here we need the text input. After that, we have the ID attribute, a unique identity to this input. There will be no element on this page which will have same ID, because id is always unique. We have name attribute. The name attribute gives this input some name which is used by form. We will see this later. And then we have the required attribute, which means that this field is required. Without it we cannot submit the form. And then we have the similar input again. This one is email input, so we have type email. If we do not enter a proper email, it will not allow us to submit. And then we have one more input which works like a submit button, because we have type equal to submit. So let us see this form in action inside our browser. I refresh the page and we have this form here, but instantly I see one problem, that there is no gap between the table and the form, which makes it look ugly. For now what we can do is, after our table tag we can do one or multiple breaks, and then refresh the page, and you can see now we have some gap in between these two elements. So if we click on subscribe, it will not let us do that, because we have to enter something inside name. You do not need to enter anything, just hit on that subscribe. It will take just a second for you to subscribe, but it motivates me a lot. So here if I enter the name, so you can see I entered name and I entered email, because both of these are required fields. If I click on subscribe, you can see that we have the validation in place. That is, it does not allow us to submit this form because this is not a valid email. So we have to enter @something.com. So once this is valid email, we can now subscribe and it redirects to the same page, but we will see all these things later on. For now, we do not need to worry what happened. The next is divs and spans. Let us first see div. For that purpose, I am going to write some little piece of CSS, but you do not need to worry about this. It's just if you are following along, if you are typing this along, just type these things. Do not worry what it is. We will see this in the CSS series. So this is our div. Now span. So this is the code which I wrote. First of all, we have a div where we set up some styling with background equal to blurry wood. Then we have the text inside this. And then we have the span tag where we have similar styling, just the color is different. The same structure we are following in the both. Let us now see the difference. And once we refresh the page, let us see the difference. First of all, we have the div. We have this much of text, but it is taking the whole space whatever is available to it. But for the span, it takes only the space which is required for it. This is known as the block level element, and the span is known as the inline element. The block level elements take all the available space. Inline elements take up the space whatever they need. For example, here we have a div which takes the whole space whatever is available, and for the span it takes only the space whatever is required. So far we learned about some basic tags. Now we are going to know about the semantic HTML. In modern HTML, instead of using many divs, we use semantic elements that describe their purpose. For example, we have a header tag which may contain the top part of the page. For example, logo, navigation, etc. And then we may have the nav tag. This nav tag may contain navigation links such as home, about, contact, etc. Then we have main. Inside this main tag, we keep the main content of the page, and that content may be kept inside the section. For example, we may have section tag for hero section. Similarly, we may have payment section where we may have plans for users. Then we have the article. Inside the article, we keep the independent content like a blog post. Then after that, we have a side tag. In this side tag, what we keep is the sidebar. You may have seen this in a lot of websites. Then we have the footer. Inside the footer, we have the bottom section, which usually contains copyright, links, etc. We have a lot of more semantic HTML tags, but these are the important ones which we are going to refer in our next session when we will create the project, and inside that we will be using some of these and maybe some others as well. Semantic HTML improves accessibility, SEO, and readability. If you are following along till now in this series, do not forget to subscribe the channel and like the video. So I encourage you to practice all of these things by building a small page, whatever you can build. So you already saw this kind of page. If you build similar kind of page where you will type your name and type some of your description and other things, one of your picture as well, and then maybe link to your social media such as LinkedIn and other things, and also if you can put your skills here, whatever skills you are going to achieve during this series, and your hobbies right here. Also you can keep some contact section right here. Whatever we learn today is for the understanding purpose only. I am not expecting you to remember everything. Just if you understand even 50% or even 40% of it, that is very good. If you understood more than that, then you are among the top 10% of people who understand HTML, and you will be easily able to create such kind of page which I already described to you. Alright friends, that is for today's video. We learned about the foundations of HTML, from basic tags to headliners to paragraphs and then to the semantic elements and forms. You now have everything you need to start creating structured and meaningful web pages. In the next video, we will practice everything we have learned today by building a single page resume using pure HTML. So do not miss that one. If you found this helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe, and drop a comment about what you built after watching this. This is Qurashi Akeel signing off. Fi Amanillah.